The Courting by Meinekeime, Chapter 4, Heike. Harry's point of view. When I woke up in the morning, there were dozens of owls in front of my window. I decided to let them in, but collect the letters later. I was really hungry. Everyone was there already, so I sat myself into a seat and took bread and jam. I wonder why there are no owls. Shouldn't they deliver their letters today? Neville asked. They are up in my room. He nodded and finished his cup of tea. I will help you collect and sort them. Then we need to go over them. It wouldn't be fair to your secrets to let them wait. I nodded after eating breakfast. We left to free the owls from their letters, and surprisingly, some of them had already brought gifts. Most of the owls were brown or black, but there on my desk sat a rather big gray one with a little packet on their leg, and she didn't even leave after I took what she carried. She rather sat down and let herself be petted by Neville and me. We checked the letters, and everyone that wrote the wrong name on the cover was immediately eliminated. Most of them thought my last name was Reynolds or Reynolds Snape, so they didn't care to learn about Veelas. In the Veela Nation tradition, Veelas are proud of their inheritance and give their children the surname of the Veela grandparents, or in my case, the Veela grandparent with magical powers. Some wrote my first name wrong. I've seen everything from Haary over Hadrian and Harrison to Harriet. Those people must not have read the rules where my full name was written into. Before even opening, I threw them into the elimination folder and opened the letters of people that were able to write my name right. There were still too many. We made 6 stacks of 20 letters, and we drank a tea after finishing each stack. I was shocked how many women wrote me, so they also went into the folder. Everyone was able to peek at my inheritance by presenting themselves in an interesting manner, by sending me a list of their best traits, or about writing a poem to me. Was sent a letter back with a thank you note. It wasn't until after lunch we were finally able to open the letters with presents, and those took more time because I had to open my tiny booklet and evaluate the presents. Happily, the gray owl still didn't leave. She had made friends with Hagrid, and they were both sitting under the window. Some men had sent presents like magazines, and those I found rather boring. They received negative marks, but others sent something that really represented them. Arthur Westwood, for example, was a professional dream analyst, so he sent a dream catcher with little feather charms that would help keep away charms that would cause me to have nightmares, or people to enter my mind while sleeping. I'd written him a letter stating that I liked his present and that I would hang it over my bed. When I picked up the next letter, the new owl screeched and took a step back. Neville ran over from where he had poured out some new tea and snatched the letter. Don't, Harry. There's something wrong with his letter. He cast a spell, and the letter turned a blue color. As I thought, there is a bonding charm on this letter. It would first a bond between the person who touches it and the caster, and the person wouldn't be able to mate with anyone else. Please don't open any letters while I'm away. I need to report this to the council and your father. He will be furious. Then Neville left, and I stood up to pet the 2 owls. Then I sat on the ground and waited until Neville would return. But wait a moment. Hadn't Neville touched the letter? I didn't want him to be forced into a bond with that idiot just because he was my enforcer. I heard an angry scream from Father's study, and Mother came into my room. Are you okay, Harry? He asked, hugging me. Don't worry, the court will deal with him. I will stay with you until Neville returns. We can open the next letter if you want. I nodded and took the next letter from the stack. The writing was elegant, and the present was attached to the letter in a little bag. I opened the letter first, after Mother checked it. The letter was written the right way, with the right space between each end of the parchment and the perfect height of each letter. He must be at least a pureblood, I thought, and started reading. The writer was my age, born more or less half a year before me. He told me that he was a pure Veela living in the wizarding world. When he wasn't studying outside the country, he was taller than me, and I liked that. Taller men often gave me the feeling of safety. He had already taken his newts, so he was smart, and if needed, he would send me a fertility certification. So he read the rules and didn't work on intuition. He informed me that he even thought, coming from a witch family, he worked mostly from home and had a steady income. After other trivia facts about him, he decided to explain the gift he sent. He said it was a potion brewed by him to represent his skills in potion brewing. He also wanted to present one of his best traits, pre-planning. The potion was one to detect any possible harmful charms or potions on parchment, leather, and other practically organic materials. It would return clear if the test subject was harm-free, and stay black if not. In the last paragraphs, he explained his owl. Her name was Heka, and she was a new type of owl breed to be able to carry packages that were a little heavier than the average. She was a really friendly owl and would most likely start being friendly with Hagrid. If I liked it or not, if she should start becoming too much, I should give her a piece of ham. She was trained to leave when she tasted it. She would stay until I wrote him back or gave her said ham, and I would send back my letter by her. In the end, he asked for a little favor. He needed it for my next president. One of my feathers, one that had fallen out by itself. In love, Draco. I started to blush. Like so often, Mother was against the idea to send him the feather, even after approving of the potion he had sent and reading the letter. And Draco was his godson. After I had required Father's opinion, I won the argument and sent Draco a letter with one of my feathers. Let's see what he will do with it. End of chapter 4.